Hi, it's Lavon. Welcome back to my channel and to Step by Step. If you've never been here before, I hope you'll consider subscribing and also hit the notifications bell so you don't miss anything. We mostly paint around here, but sometimes we talk about different things. Today I am refinishing a $20 Facebook Marketplace find. It was a really nice looking piece and I couldn't wait to paint the details. There were just a few things like this drawer that came unglued and the drawer glides were off a little bit. There were just some things that were very easy fixes, and otherwise this piece was pretty clean. There was some surface scratches on there, but nothing really deep that required any additional help except for one spot that I just used a little Dixie Belle mud on. So after some re-gluing and then clamping, this was good as new. So there's the piece that I did, the little chip out that I did the Dixie Belle mud on, and I just used brown. So I painted in Savannah Mist after a thorough cleaning with White Lightning. Even when a piece looks clean, you want to paint it, you want to clean it with White Lightning and remember to rinse so that the paint adheres. So when I slowed the video down a little to show you just how long it takes for you to paint in those details. I'm using a French tip brush from Dixie Belle, and I'm really working the paint in those details. But the good news is I'm only doing this once. So this section, these detail areas, I'm only painting with one coat, and you can see the rest of the part of the drawer that's flat. That'll definitely need a second coat. But I'm going to do some waxing and distressing in this area. So when I put the dark wax over it, it's really wouldn't matter if I did a second coat. You wouldn't even be able to tell. So that's the plus side of that. Look at the great detail on those drawers and everything. It's just such a beautiful piece. I love Savannah Mist. It's a beautiful blue-gray color. More blue. So there's what the piece looked like after I got all the painting done. The original hardware that was on there was just knobs, which were pretty much okay, but I knew I wanted a drop for the top. So now I'm going to use my favorite clear wax and a big brush and just coat the entire piece. I'm making that face because I'm getting low, so it means I've got to restock. So I just slather it all over the piece, and then here comes the tough part, because it got caught in all those details. So really kind of just trying to work it out of the little nooks and crannies. Eventually though, when I'm doing the waxing with the dark wax, so here I'm using brown and the Best Dang wax from Dixie Belle, and a small stencil brush, and I'm just working in all of those detail areas. And some of the clumps of clear wax are going to come out during this process, but if you've never waxed before, the clear wax is so important, because if I put that brown wax, you can see it's pretty dark anyway, but if I put that brown wax directly on that surface that I just painted with that chalky finish, it's just gonna sit there and not want to move. The clear wax helps it to move around. It also sort of acts as an eraser. If you get it in a place that it's a little too intense, it'll help you to distribute the wax, the dark wax, a little bit more, or just remove it when you have too much in one area. So waxing takes as long as painting. It probably takes longer, in a case like this, because it's just a lot of detail and there's not much on it, but it's just, what's there is pretty intense. So I'm just using the rag, and when you wipe off the dark wax, that's pretty easy too, because you want the dark to stay in the deep details. See my mask hanging off my face? And then you're just wiping it off the surface so the pretty color you put on there stays on the top. So I'm trying to readjust the camera a bit, I guess. So I can even see there's some bits of the clear wax remaining. So and here's where you can see where in areas like this, how dark that wax is and how you might want to control it. If you didn't have that clear wax in there, you would never be able to control how dark that color is. I just love bringing out all of those details. So you do want to focus like in the real holes or nooks and crannies, I guess, with the darkest area of the wax. And then there's lines in those swirls, so you do want to kind of go over them. And then when you remove the wax, it'll just kind of remain in those lines, and just highlight it, just bring out the detail even more. And don't forget all of the areas around it. There goes the mask. I also like to do a little bit, like you can see I did. Now there I have it on my finger. Just wanted you to notice that. And I'm taking an even smaller brush and really trying to tone down that dark a little bit, and also pull out any remaining little bits of the clear wax. So as I was saying before I interrupted myself, you can see along where the arch is, I also like to do a little bit of it going on to the smooth surface. So remember those detail areas, and then above this, where the top meets the dresser, you're going to want to wax that. I just focused on the big drawer first. So I'm surprised I actually painted the whole piece before I started waxing the details, because that's one of my tricks, I guess, for myself. I'll paint the whole piece, or I'll paint the fun part of the piece, which is usually the front, and I'll do everything to it. And then I'll finish the sides, just because then I know that's all I need to do to get it out for sale. So I like to, I do that when I decorate a room too. I do the fun parts first, and then the rest I know I have to finish. So here I just did the same thing. You can see, and it's a lot easier to wipe it back here because it's just a little detail, and you can see I put it on the smooth part as well. And that white wax on there first really helps me to control it, especially in those areas. In the dark areas, you don't mind so much if you get a concentration of the wax, but here is where it's kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, as my mother would always say. So I continue the waxing. You can see it's pretty simple on here. So you just kind of wiggle it in across and inside your frame. And then and also, all of those little cracks along the frame. And then I try to kind of go back in an up and down motion as well to really work it in those details, because that molding detail sort of looks like sort of like eyes or something. It's like round with another round inside. So to get all that detail, you just want to work it in. I also, if you notice, like the corners of the piece, I concentrated some wax even on the smooth part of the corner, because that's where it would naturally age or gather, or dust would gather. So those are the areas. And also around the handles, you'll see I wax around the handle area as well. So you can see waxing takes a little time, but it's my favorite thing to do. I'm not much of a glaze person. Wax is my jam, I guess. Really like using it. And we continue. So, do you use wax? Love to hear your comments on using waxes or the paint color or anything, or any projects you have going on. Love it when you engage and talk to me. All of that helps my channel grow. I also appreciate it if you like this video and you know someone that would benefit from it, if you share it as well. So gradually we're going to grow this channel. See how I kind of move up and down also after I go across to get it in those details. A lot of wiggling with that little brush. But you definitely want a small brush for the detail when you're working that frame. I just love this combination, the brown wax with the Savannah Mist. Even though that color has sort of a gray tone, I knew I wanted brown wax with it. Gray would have been nice as well. We do have grunge gray wax as well as in the glaze, but that would have been pretty too. But for whatever reason, that's how I saw it, is with brown. So this poor t-shirt's getting a workout. But I actually like to use the same t-shirt for the clear as I use for the colored wax, the dark wax. I don't know why, I just kind of move that t-shirt around a lot to the different areas, you can see, so I don't redistribute the wax. But sometimes you just want a little bit more wax in one area, and actually if you go back to one of the dark spots on your rag, you can apply it from there. So it's just kind of funny how it's really literally wax on, wax off. And then the wax kind of cures or hardens a little bit. I'd say after a day. It's not anything really noticeable, but you do want to wipe off excess wax because you don't want to touch that piece and have it feel super waxy, because it will take a long time to, if you have excessive wax on there. So you saw where I did around the drawers. So just continuing here, the rest of the drawers. Wiping off the excess clear wax here. So I have some pieces in my basement that are coming up next that are 2 mid-century modern pieces, and I'm going to do something fun on the drawers. Going to do a little collaboration with Edith Noble. I'm going to check out her channel. She's definitely one to watch and up and coming. She did a coloring book, and I'm actually going to take some of the designs from the coloring book. So I know I'm focusing on this a long time, but it kind of gives you an idea of how long it takes, right? Because I am actually abbreviating the process. I'm not doing every single drawer for you in every area, but I just want you to see, especially when something is this detailed, just how long it takes. So I sure appreciate your watching, and again, any questions you have, you can put in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And also, I use all Dixie Belle products. So if you are interested in purchasing Dixie Belle products, my affiliate link is in the description box. And the affiliate link means that you are getting it direct shipped to you, and you're ordering it from Dixie Belle, but I get paid for it. So it doesn't cost you any extra. So there's the piece all waxed, and now I just want to show you some details. On my finger I have some gilding wax. I have sterling silver gilding wax. Now check out the hardware on the top. I did a lot more heavy dark waxing around there. So this gilding wax, I just use my fingertip and touch the details. Easier done than said, I guess is what I want to say. Pretty that is. So you'll see how close, when you look at it close up, that just brings out the details. So there it is, and I just want to remind you that's how we started. And I also want you to see the knobs in this picture. They were sort of like a bronzy. I skipped this step on the video, but I used Moonshine Metallics in which Steel Magnolia is the color, and I painted the hardware, so it came out great. I want to thank you so much for watching, and please come back next Saturday at 4 for another episode of Step by Step. Also join me on Tuesday evenings for Tuesday Talk, And this month, I'm doing a whole video every day for my birthday month. So visit the website at lavintagedecor.company, and also on Facebook at LaVintage Decor Altoona, and on Instagram, we're LaVintage Decor. Stay well.